Do you live in or are interested in knowing more about Creekside neighborhood in Bentonville, Arkansas? Today, we're going to dig into the numbers and find out from 2019 to 2021 what happened and my predictions for what's going to take place in 2022. Before we dive in, I want you to understand the information that I'm providing to you are based off of information that is reported to our local MLS. So things that could be statistically skewed are if perhaps someone does sell a home private party or if a realtor fails to report that information to the MLS. But I think we're pretty spot on here. What we're about to go through may or may not shock you, but will certainly report on the craziness of what happened in Northwest Arkansas and specifically in Creekside neighborhood in 2021. What actually happened? So in order to find out what actually happened in 2021, I had to go back to 2019, 2020, pre-pandemic, and 2021 to give us a trend line to figure out, one, where are we going, and truly what happened from those previous years. So Creekside neighborhood started in 2016, 2017. Walker Brothers Construction started building the first couple homes. Then Anderson Builders, then Landmark Builders came in and fleshed out the rest of the neighborhood. In 2019, we saw a total of 20 home sales happen in Creekside neighborhood, only one of which was an existing home sale. What that means is everything else was new construction. The whole neighborhood was continuing to grow. In 2020, we saw 45 homes sell in Creekside. 42 of them were new construction, so a big expansion year. Most of them, Walker had faded away. Most of the homes that were new construction sold in 2020 were either Anderson Construction or Landmark Construction homes. And then we're starting to see a shift as the neighborhood starts to mature and starts to flesh out. We're starting to see a shift in 2021 from new homes to more existing homes sale. So in 2021, there were 36 homes that had sold in all of Creekside, and 27 of those were new construction, again, split pretty evenly between Landmark and Anderson. That means that 9 of those were existing or non-new construction homes. So somebody had bought a home and then resold it. That's what had taken place in 2021. Now, going into 2022, something I'm going to touch base on later in the video is what happens to Creekside when all of the new homes, when every single lot has been built and is now under construction and now sold and closed out. What happens to Creekside specifically going forward with property values? If you're like me, you know the numbers don't lie unless you're lying about the numbers. So on my integrity, I'm gonna make it as black and white as possible, as clear as day as it can be, no gray areas. Here's what the numbers say. But before we get into some of that, being in such a new construction area, Bentonville, Centerton, Springdale, even down into Fayetteville, Farmington, Prairie Grove, people in our area talk about price per square foot. It's a great metric to have a conversation, but certainly not the end-all be-all when it comes to determining your home's potential sales price. Since that is such a topic of conversation, price per square foot, where people kind of gauge where things are, that's what I'm going to provide to you as to Creekside specifically, Creekside neighborhood, what took place. So in 2019, Creekside neighborhood's average price per square foot, again, most if not all of them were new construction, average price per square foot was $136.11. If you're watching this 2021 or later, Creekside neighborhood, $136.11. I don't care where you are in Northwest Arkansas. If you can buy a home for $136.11, you should buy it now. So that brought sales prices to $380,137 as far as an average home sales price. In 2020, we saw an increase up to $142.82 per square foot, meaning that home values are around $410,466. That's a little more than a 7% increase from 2019 to 2020, okay? So now going from 2020 into 2021, we saw a 9.8% increase in final sales prices from 2020 to 2021. 2021 average sale price was $455,424. That's a price per square foot of $163.87. So looking from 2019 to where 2021 ended up, we're looking at over an 18% appreciation in final sales price. If buying in early 2019 to selling in late 2021, you saw almost a 20% appreciation in value in Creekside neighborhood. So if you bought if you bought in that neighborhood in 2019 or even 2020, you're going to be just laughing all the way to the bank if you sell the home in 2021 or later. Okay, so 2019, we saw this, 2020, we saw that, 2021, we saw such an increase in price per square foot, an increase in actual sales price, final sales price. What happened? What took place? As you know, global pandemic, right? We're not going to get into all the details of that, but how it affected our housing market here locally in Northwest Arkansas, but also globally, is we saw an increase in lumber. Now, of course, lumber is not the only way to build a house, but most homes in Northwest Arkansas and specifically in Creekside neighborhood are built with 2x4s, with lumber. We don't build with concrete, we don't build with steel studs, but lumber being the number one thing that you're framing a home out with, that's the one thing I wanted to make sure we touch base on today. So the statistic that I'm showing you here, US dollar per thousand board feet in 2020, where it reached its peak was $928. That was in August of 2020. Now, just talking again about lumber alone, going into 2021, we saw over a $600 peak in early Q2 or in April of 2021. We saw a very huge trend line just spike up of just lumber alone. Now, of course, everything that goes into a house is more than just lumber. You have your mechanicals, your heating and air and furnaces, you have your appliances, washers, dishwashers, and refrigerators that a lot of them come from overseas. So with builders in our area, and again, now bringing it back specifically to Creekside, is builders couldn't predict what's that final sales price going to be, or actually when are we going to be able to deliver that product to the consumer who's purchasing it. So that drove home prices and homes values skyrocketed, because if you're a builder, would you want to say my home is worth $500,000, you market it for that, and then it costs you $550 to build? You're going to be out of business real quick and in a hurry. So back to where we are specifically, we had the global pandemic, we had supply chain issues, we had labor shortages that affected the delivery of those already tight commodities. So a lot of those things derived and gave reason as to why home prices continued to shoot up. So also with that, the workforce, people coming from California, people coming from New York, New Jersey, Washington, Oregon, were transcending upon Northwest Arkansas because of the low cost of living, because of the way of life that we get to enjoy here. So with all of those things happening, simple economics would say supply and demand for housing, people got to have a place to live. It's going to continue to drive prices up. So all things considered, you're probably asking now, well, Anthony, what does that mean for Creekside now? And where do you think it's going to go in 2022? Well, we need to state the case. What is happening in Creekside right now? Well, right now in Creekside, at the taping of this video, there is one home for sale. It is new construction, built by Landmark Homes. It is listed at $561,900. You may be going, holy cow, that's a lot higher than your average price that we saw in 2021. Yes, but if you look down into the statistics, and I would be happy to provide this information to you, I went down into the numbers, got really geeky on the numbers. The majority of homes that sold in 2021 were above that 450 or low 500. So things are still creeping up. So one home is currently for sale at 561. There are 6 homes that are pending, also new construction, also by Landmark Homes. Those homes are averaging at $550,788. That's a price per square foot of $187.76 per square foot. So obviously a big jump again from where we ended in 2021, the average being around 163, now being up in close to that 190 mark. So what's happening? Well, that's where we're at as far as current inventory in Creekside neighborhood. What's happening with Landmark? What's going to happen with Creekside as Landmark finishes their homes and as Creekside now becomes only a neighborhood of existing homes when things continue to move forward? Well, what's going to happen is, guys, new homes continue to drive sales in our area, whether it be Creekside, whether it be another Northwest Arkansas neighborhood. New construction is driving existing home values. So when new construction's all done, the existing homes in Creekside are not going to appreciate as fast as they did when new construction was going on in the neighborhood. However, that doesn't mean that your home isn't going to appreciate. That doesn't mean that we're going to have a bubble burst. More on that in a second. What it means is we're just going to slow down. We're going to normalize a little bit in Creekside. There are other neighborhoods, as you know, being built in the area that are going to continue to drive values. But now again, since all new homes, everything is now finished out, I predict by late Q1 or early Q2 of 2022, all of those homes will be completely finished out, closed, and new owners in the home. So again, with new construction being out, existing homes won't appreciate. So just imagine, if you will, driving down the highway at 100 miles an hour, and all of a sudden you slow down to the speed limit. It feels like you just went to a crawl. You didn't stop, turn around and go the opposite direction like what happened in a bubble burst, okay? For more reasons than we have time for on this video, I do not believe we'll have a bubble burst, but again, we're gonna see going 90 miles an hour down the highway, or going at 10 to 15% appreciation, now slowing down to 70 miles an hour on the highway, or slowing down to a normalized market appreciation, 6-7%. We could even still see in Northwest Arkansas, and specifically in Creekside, because there's still some new construction finishing out and lower inventory numbers, I still think that we're gonna see double-digit appreciation from 2021 to 2022. All that being said, at the end of the day, I predict that Creekside neighborhood will see 11 to 15 existing home sales. And I do believe that on the low end, they'll be around 500,000. And on the high end, I think Creekside neighborhood could see existing home sales top out even into the low $600,000. If you're someone in Creekside and you're considering selling your home, it would be my pleasure to have a no obligation conversation to see how this information applies to you and what your strategy might be in order to sell your home. If you're a buyer and you're looking to make Creekside your home, again, reach out to me. My information will be provided at the end of this video. It would be my honor to help serve you in being one of the first, or if not the first, to know about new homes that are coming available in Creekside. I hope this information is valuable to you and you guys find it important. By all means, hit the subscribe button to be notified when more videos like this about Creekside or other neighborhoods in Northwest Arkansas come available. My name is Anthony Mosley. Thanks for watching. Have a fantastic day.